In this video, we are going to set up the base project for the shoot 'em up game. Let's open Unity application, and for this course, I'm using version 2017.3.1 P4. You can use any version, but I suggest you use the same version as mine, or at least 2017 above. And we can set the project to 3D. We can just also disable the analytics because we are not going to use that, and then press the create project button. Now Unity is open, and first we need to import the package I have provided in this course. You can download it from the resources link and go to the assets menu, import package, and then click custom package. I'm going to go to the folder where I have saved the package, and here it is. So let's import this. This assets contains all the 3D models, textures, and audios that are needed to create this game. Press the import button. And now the assets are currently being imported to the project. Okay, so now before we continue, I'm going to change our platform settings, and currently it is set to PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. We can change this via the file menu, then go to the build settings and then select Android, and then press switch platform. And right now it's going to re-import all of the assets that we are going to use for this project. Now it's already finished switching the platform. We need to go to the player settings right now, and we are going to change a couple of values in the inspector. So I'm going to change the company name and also the package name. Okay, we also need to change the resolution and presentation settings, and let's set the default orientation to portrait. So that would be all for player settings. Now let's save the scene, and let's create a new folder to save all of the scenes, and I'm going to call this one gameplay. And now let's open the models folder, and inside we have this plane A model, which is the hero plane model. So let's drag this model to the hierarchy panel. And I'm going to also put the tank. And as you can see right now, the objects are overlapping with each other. So let's fix this overlapping issue. We can switch to the top view by clicking on the Y-axis on the view gizmo, top right of the scene view. Let's zoom this out a bit, and let's adjust the main camera position by aligning it to this view right now. But before that, let's change field of view to 25. And now with the camera selected, we can align it by going to the game object menu, and then select the align with view menu. This will automatically align the camera to the current view. So now if we go to the game view, the camera view will be from top. I'm going to zero the X and Z position under the transform and set the Y to a round number, 35 in this case. And this is still too close, so I'm going to increase our field of view value to 30. Now we have set up the camera position. Next, we are going to set up the layer, so the plane can be rendered on top of the tank and not overlapping with each other like this. So first, let's create a new camera and change this camera tag to untag. So whenever a script searches for the camera using the main camera tag later, it will automatically grab this one, and don't forget to parent the second camera to the first camera. For the second camera, let's change the name to ground object camera, and this camera will only show the ground object. And rename this one to air object camera. We also need to create a couple of layers, so under the layer drop-down, press add layer. And here I'm going to create a new layer called air object and ground object. Next, let's change the plane layer to air object and the tank to ground object, and just click yes to affect the layer changes to the children game object. And for the air object camera, let's clear the layer under the culling mask drop down by selecting nothing, and then select the air object. And also set the clear flags to depth only. And for the ground camera, we are going to leave the culling mask options with the default value, but we need to make sure that it has lower depth value than the air camera depth value. So let's change it to -2, and now if we zoom the view, you'll see that the ship is being drawn on top of the tank. Although it occupies the same Y position, because we put these two objects on a different layer, if we bring the camera closer, you can see the plane is getting drawn first. So let's set the Y position back to 35, and I'm going to move the tank aside. And now let's create a couple of tags. We already have a player tag, so we need to create a new tag for the enemy, and then we also need to create the bullet tag and enemy bullet. Now let's save the scene and also the project, and we are going to continue our lessons in the next video.